Hi, I'm Danny Pellegrino from the Everything Iconic podcast. And who doesn't love a classic burger from McDonald's? That's right. McDonald's classic burgers are hotter, juicier, and tastier than ever. The patties are cooked to juicy perfection. I love the cheese perfectly melted on top. I love the Big Mac that has a special sauce in every bite. I love the pillowy, soft, golden bun. So in the words of the Hamburglar, which I believe means grab McDonald's best burgers ever before Hamburglar does at a McDonald's near you.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months required. New subscribers only. Renew for 12 months to lock in savings. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com.
Welcome, guys. This week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones with me, your podcast, Tony Evans. I am playing around with some new equipment that I got to record through this week. So I hope I sound better. I think I do. It's just tweaking the EQs. The old box was really quite simple. Just plug in, plug out, and walk away. This one's got all these widgets and gadgets on it, and I'm playing with it, which is I shouldn't do. But hey, I think I've got it where I want it to be. Hopefully it sounds a lot better. Definitely, when I played it back, it sounded better. Anyway, back to the main show. This week's episode is a reaction, just sort of an emotional reaction more than a full breakdown. I think track by track. We'll do it, but honestly, I've only listened to it maybe 6 or 7 times since Friday, and this is now Monday. So, not enough time for me to really give you a full breakdown. So I'm going to do it emotionally, reactively. It's the new Venom.Inc. album. There's Only Black. I interviewed Tony Dolan, or the Demolition Man, last week for Metal Ruse. I'll put a link underneath in the show notes. And my sound was terrible. I don't know what happened. I recorded it, and then I thought I was going through the mic, but it was going through my headphone mic. Who knows? I don't know what I did there. Anyway, he sounds great, and great and amazing as usual. It was a bucket list thing for me to do. It was amazing, and he's such a great guy. Anyway, it's the new Venom.Inc. album. So from the ashes of Venom, come Venom.Inc. 2015, the original 1989, 1990 to 93, 4 lineup got together again. That's Jeffrey Dunn on Mantis on guitar. There was Abaddon on drums. That's Anthony Dre, and Tony Demolition Man Dolan on bass, and Anthony Bray. Sorry, God, me. I don't know what happens sometimes. One word comes in, the other one doesn't stay there. You know, there's a lot of Tonys around the extreme metal scene, isn't there? I mean, there really seems to be a lot of them. It's funny, and I was just saying to someone the other day, when I grew up in the UK, I didn't know any other Tonys. I was the only one I knew. And I come to Australia, and they're everywhere, and then also, like, suddenly all my favourite bands are Tonys. It's crazy. Or not suddenly, they were there, been there a long time. I'd never thought about it. I think it's a generational thing, sorry, that's on my tea. So 2015 they released Arve, and a lot of people, they formed in 2015, I think it was released in 2017. A lot of people were very suspicious. Let's just say that. They were very suspicious about how it was going to come out, what it was going to sound like, could they capture the the mercurial energy and the lightning in a bottle that was Primeval, and subsequent albums with Tony, I wasn't a doubter. I really wasn't, because Tony Dolan and Mantis and Abaddon being massive fans of them for such a long time, I thought, well, no, they'll just basically recreate. I thought they'll just recreate Primeval and so on, which would be no bad thing, because it's an amazing album. As you know, if you look back on the episodes, I did an episode on Primeval, a few episodes, maybe 10 or so episodes, probably 20 episodes back. When they released Ave, it was incredible. I mean, I really mean that. When you listen to Venom, Venom has a sound. Okay, even the Tony Dolan era Venom has a sound, because its heartbeat is Jeff Dunn, and so the heartbeat, the rhythm comes. Even though Tony would put his mark on it, and so would Abaddon and so on. It's really sort of Jeffrey's sort of key, his fingers all over it, and so you thought, it might sound the same, but no, it was fresh, it was modern, it was heavy, it was aggressive. The artwork with is it Satan, is it Pan on the front of the cover? Even Tony says it's a bit ambiguous. And then I got to see them for the very first time live. I'd never seen them with Kronos or Tony before, but I saw them at the Basement 2018, 2019, something like that, and it blew my mind. I just regret I didn't get a backstage pass at the time, because I didn't really think, I just didn't. I just went with the flow. But subsequently, Tony and I have become friends, chatting and stuff, and coming back again, hopefully next year, he said, because of COVID, obviously delayed everything. But so in the meantime, in between COVID and now, so the album was released last Friday, which was the 24th, I believe. Hang on, is it the 24th today? 1 second. See, I can't use my. Hang on, look at this. This is what you tune in for. 24th, 25th, yeah, 24th, 23rd actually, over here in Australia, and they had to record it in Portugal, where Jeffrey lives now, with his cats. Amazing. I'd highly recommend looking at his Facebook page. He's got a beautiful love for cats, and if you love cats, you have a soft soul, in my opinion. And then Tony lives in London, and the new drummer. Now, let me 1 second get you the new drummer's name, because I just know him as his nickname. His name is War Machine, like Abaddon, like Demolition Man, but his real name is Jermaine Kling. He's in America, and so they were recording across the globe, a la the modern world, and it. I already talked to Tony about this. I wasn't sure how the disparate hemispherical challenges would work against or work in favour of creating such intricate. Pop music, I'm not saying it's not intricate, but pop music is mainly digital these days, and so forth. It's a pretty straightforward, because not many instruments are used. It's mainly your digital interfaces, and so that sort of thing can transcend from, say, a digital file emailed or sent from America to London and back and forth, and I don't think you'll lose anything. But I'm worried when such a visceral, viscous and fluid musical form like heavy metal, or heavy rock, or rock in general, is recorded across hemispheres, and without people being in the same rooms and flashing ideas out. But Tony assured me when I talked to him before that isn't the case, and I was absolutely blown away by the product that came out. I've been listening to the singles. The singles that came off the album, I I sort of listened to, but kept to myself. I didn't listen to them too often. You had How Many Can Die, Don't Feed Me Your Lies, and Come to Me. They were the 3 singles. Now, I really did stay as best I could away from... I listened to them, of course I did, very excited, but I kept away because I wanted to hear the album in its entirety. Sometimes bands leak too much too quickly, and I find that really off-putting because, you know, you want to lock yourself away. I said to Tony in the interview, I want to lock myself away in a dark room with the album on my own, be left alone, because I don't want to. I appreciate music like very much like you would appreciate fine wine or whiskey, or you know, you just need sometimes to be on your own where there's no noise. I don't mean noise externally, I mean noise internally, you know, like, so you haven't got to think about things, there's people around you, you lock yourself away. One of my favourite things to do, and John knows this, is I like to run a hot bath and lie in the bath with my, you know, good headphones on and just listen to the music, you know, in that environment. I find that the best way to consume it first thing. When I was running a lot, I used to do it when I was running, but the trouble with that is that your mind goes elsewhere, and you absorb it, but you don't appreciate it. Anyway, so they've released this album. They've recorded it across the world. They're now taking it out on tour, which is amazing. And it's a different album. We'll talk about it sort of track by track when we get to the other side of the show. But it's a slightly different album for them, and I think actually, on reflection, it's probably one of the most modern sounding records I think of the last 10 years for me. It really doesn't sit in any real category or boundary, I think, and it has this sense of accomplishment. It is lightning, it is crazy, it is, and I wrote this down, let me have my book again, hang on, what I wrote, chaotic, explosive, pyrotechnic, that's what I wrote. There were the 3 words I wrote, came to my head straight away. It does have elements of Venom in it. Like, it still feels like a Venom, or Venom.Inc. album, I should say. It still has those amorphic, almost diaphanous chord changes. You know, when I mean diaphanous, quickly look it up in the dictionary if you want. It means like thin, see-through. You know, like lightweight. And I don't mean lightweight as in tunes. I mean it's got this sort of ethereal, diaphanous sense. So you can almost see veil-like. It will veil that each level of complexity veils another, but so lightly that it doesn't completely wash out the layer below it. You know, with some bands, you know, they're so textured, and some of the really good prog bands I love get so textured that you might not hear the wonderful bass lines that are being played underneath some complex modal key changes in a keyboard solo, but with this album I felt that that isn't the case. I felt that this sort of almost peering layer by layer, just enough darkness on each layer to wipe out a little bit, but to bring through the rest. And it's a very clever and interesting way of writing music. It's not an easy thing to do. I don't know if they did it deliberately. And again, I haven't got full information on the album yet. Like, I haven't received my copy, my copies. I bought several copies, I should say. Look, peeked there. I bought several copies of it in different coloured vinyls and so on. But one that turns up originally, I don't have the notes, so I want to see. I don't know who produced it, and I don't really know much about where it was recorded, but whoever did it, and I think Jeff had a lot, and Tony had a lot to do with it. It's really, really well crafted. And am I saying this because I'm a biased Venom and a Venom.Inc. fan? Maybe, but I don't think I am. I'm honest, and I think if you know me now, I'm honest. I don't want to. It's no good blowing smoke up something, and I tell you it's amazing, and then you walk away and put it on, and now you might not like it anyway, but you don't want to go, well, he said it was like the best thing since sliced bread, and then you put it on and you hate it because you don't understand what I'm just being, glowing. I think genuinely the lads have made, an astonishing record, and 3-piece band as well. I think I should do a show on 3 pieces because I think 3-piece bands often have the biggest sound. If you think about it, Motorhead, Thin Lizzy sometimes, but not always because he's often had dual guitars. But Motorhead, Venom.Inc, the Police. There are loads of 3-piece bands out there that are, because they have to be tight and they can't hide behind lots of extreme guitar, mixing. I'm doing it wrong. I love big bands. I mean, Maiden's a 6-piece. I love Maiden. Although we never know quite sure that Yannick is plugged in, but that's just another conspiracy moment. I don't need to worry about that. Anyway, look, I'm coming to the end of this side because I want to be a shorter side A because I want to talk more about the album track by track as we go, and just so a little bit more emotional and see how we go on that side. But all I want to finish this side on is that please do go and listen to Arve if you haven't listened to it. Before then, go and listen to the 3 albums that were produced with Tony Dolan at the helm in Venom. Okay, they're such a different beast, one to the other. Like you have your first opener, which was Primeval. I mean, how could you top Primeval? I think Primeval, outside of At War with Satan, is maybe Black Metal, are the Venom's best albums. Primeval, Temples of Ice, and The Wastelands. Now, Tony Dolan is my era Venom. I started off, my very first Venom album I ever listened to was At War with Satan, so technically Kronos was my first Venom, and I love them so much. But Tony was my one that really, because it was my era, 89, 90, so I was 17, 18. And so it was really important to me, that particular era, because that's when I was buying records and stuff and so on. I had this conversation with Tony about this, that people get really upset, and I've seen Facebook posts, oh, you're not Venom if it isn't Kronos, you've ruined my life and all sort of stuff. It really bugs me to the nth degree, that shit. I'm not a big fan of the Blaze Bayley era Maiden albums, but I wouldn't say they ruined my fucking life, and I certainly wouldn't reach out and abuse someone. I don't like the Hogarth era Marillion after Holidays in Eden, but it is what it is. I just choose to listen to what I want to listen to. There's plenty of catalogue for everyone, and it's just, I don't know. And they go, I only heard one song and it's not really Maiden. It's not really, Venom. And I'm like, well, why don't you take a chill pill? As I said to Matt when the new Maiden first single came off the new album, he was really distraught about it. And I said, look, one song does not make an album, one swallow does not make a summer, as they say, right? So you need to take it in. Yes, it might be the wrong single off the album for its original release. I sometimes think they do choose the wrong singles, some bands, and so it frightens diehard fans. But I think what you need to do is go, right, no, I'm gonna listen to this. I'm not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it, but I'm going to wait till the album comes out. And you know what? When that new Maiden album came out, and Matt and I both were in the same book here, we don't really enjoy the post-millennium albums, the three. Dance of Death, Matter of Life and Death, and not Speed of Light, Final Frontier. Not a big fan. Don't really like them that much. Don't like the way it sounded. Don't like the mix. I've gone over that in the show already, but that's a different episode. So you need to wait till the full product is released. You don't judge a book by the first opening page of a book. You read the whole book, don't you? Or you should do. So what I'm saying is that this is my era, Venom.Inc. And so so you listen to those 3 albums if you haven't already. So if you're too stuffed in your Kronos lineup band thing, well, fine, absolutely fine. You're not going to be probably listening to this show anyway, because you may go, oh no, it's Venom.Inc, I don't want to know. But otherwise, listen to those 3 albums, then listen to the Venom Ave, and then come into this one. Do it in that order. Really, do it in that order. Because you'll feel the transition, and you'll see, as I mentioned before, the amount of change and difference in this album right back to Primeval. Right? There's the DNA of it, but you'll feel the difference. I would go those 3 albums first. I really would, and then I would do Ave, and then I would do this new one, There's Only Black. So that's the end of this side, guys. I will go and warm my cup of tea up, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes after you've had to listen to these wonderful adverts. And talk to you soon, guys. Bye.
Hi, I'm Danny Pellegrino from the Everything Iconic podcast. And who doesn't love a classic burger from McDonald's? That's right. McDonald's classic burgers are hotter, juicier, and tastier than ever. The patties are cooked to juicy perfection. I love the cheese perfectly melted on top. I love the Big Mac that has a special sauce in every bite. I love the pillowy, soft, golden bun. So in the words of the Hamburglar, which I believe means grab McDonald's best burgers ever before Hamburglar does at a McDonald's near you.
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools and customized support, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Welcome back, guys, to side 2 of the review or emotional dive into Venom.Inc's new album, There's Only Black. So, if you've listened to it now, hopefully you may have paused it, I don't know, gone away and listened to more of those 3 albums, and then you may not. You may listen to it. If you haven't, doesn't matter. We're going to chat about the new track by track now, I think. Here we go. Oh, I've knocked the mic again. There we go. This new setup is even a bit more sensitive about things. Okay, here we go. Right. So it opens up with How Many Can Die. Now again, I don't have the album or the lyrics sheets in front of me, so I'm not going to be able to give you a rundown of lyrical breakdown, which I like to do, as you know. Just going to talk how I felt about it, okay? So I've got here that it's chaotic, it's modern, it has a fantastic staccato assault dive. Now what it means is that the guitar solos has this really modern guitar soloing sound across it. The first listen through sounds a little like nothing I've heard before. Okay, so. And what I mean that is, as I said at the side A, I think this album is completely different. Diaphanous, which is a nice word, I might start using that a bit more often, and layered, and very, very modern. And I use the word prog around a lot on this show. I really do, but I really mean it. This is a really proggy album. And I don't mean proggy as in, don't get, oh my god, I won't listen to it. It's going to be incredibly textured and layered, and I can't break into it. All I want is to smash my head around to some really heavy black extreme metal. Well, you can do that with this album. When I say progressive, I don't mean progressive as in let's have a listen to some Genesis progressive. This is progressive for the band. It's progressive for the genre. I think this is the most progressive extreme metal album I've heard in years. Okay, it's clean but yet dirty. It's hard yet soft. It's layered. It's got an infernal riffage in it. Like Jeff's, like the riffing on this first song, How Many Can Die, which came out as the first single, is just, the lyrical theme. Basically, okay, what I get, the lyrical theme and the concept of the album is that Jeffrey Dunn Mantis, had a near-death experience. And instead of seeing light tunnels and white, he saw nothing but black. And so this no heaven, no hell, no demons as well. There's a lyric for you there. But it basically, it was just empty void. And I think that sort of is what comes across in every single song of this album. The saying, How Many Can Die? I mean, again, don't know the full lyrical content. I need to read the lyrics on the album when I get in and when I get it in and really be able to. I'll just have a look and see if they're on Spotify, the lyrics. 1 second. You can go on Spotify now and it has a lyric on it. Let's see if I can find it. This is live editing as we speak, guys. Well, let's just see if I can search. Okay, let's turn the volume down so I don't get a copyright thing. Okay. I get it? No, I don't get it. It says no. Okay. No lyrical, no thing on there, unfortunately. Where is it? Yeah, no. So I get a feeling it's basic. It does sound a bit like it has some influence from some Slayer. I think that's a good thing, really, because it adds a little bit of more aggression and a bit of modernism, a little bit of Americanism to the in a weird way. That might be Jeremy's influence. That sort of thrash sound, American sound that's sort of building its way into this song. I mean, Venom invented thrash, and I stand by that, and I truly believe that. So, sorry, 1 second. I'm going to pause for a moment. My cat is trying to get through my door. 1 moment. I opened the door for the silly thing, and she run away somewhere else, and I lose my train of thought. Anyway, so she'll probably come back later on. She always does. So as I was saying, so it's a very modern, very American in some respects. This particular song, it's a good leading single off the album, because when you buy the album, if that's the first single, when you put the album on, the first single, first track of the album is a single, it's familiarity. I think it's a really clever thing. A lot of bands put the singles on at the end or in the middle, and it's quite nice to put the album on and you've been listening to the single for, I don't know, say 3 months, and suddenly you get a familiarity, and it helps you to familiarize and to acclimatize to the new album. Okay, the next song is my favorite song on the album. It is a solid classic. Okay, it's called Infinitum. All right, it's brilliant. I've written here, it feels like a classic. It feels like probably Tony's vocals is a blast from the past on this particular album. Tony has a way of spitting out his words. He enunciates in such a brutal and beautiful way. He enunciates. He doesn't. He can get aggression and anger and power without losing it in a burbled mix. In a way where some singers have been trying to be so aggressive and so powerful that they lose the direction. Here she comes. One moment. Is she going to come and knock on my microphones? Are you come? Oh, can you hear that? Here she is. Anyway, yeah. So, now, sorry, she's hitting my mic cables. Boom. Sit down or go away. There you go. Yes. So, sorry guys, my little hairy friend. Okay. So, this is what you come for, isn't it? Hey, Phoebes. Right. So yeah. So as I wrote, so he's got this way of enunciating, right? It's epic. It's headbang. I really felt like I had to really groove to this song. I was sitting there hear that? That's her touching my mic. I sat there trying to keep myself from, really being concentrating, but this song came on and I just could not. It's impossible not to groove to it. It's extremely great groove, Mantis's guitars, again, they change and textured and the directional, and I really love Jeremy's hi-hat work is just astonishing, really splashy, as I keep saying before. Like, I love open-shouldered splashy music and in the drums, and it feels free and it doesn't feel encumbered, but still feels really hard. It's full of drama. It's great, and I love the lyric, "We praise our blackened sun for infinitum." I love it. It's clearly, end of days kind of vibe with this particular song, but lyrically, it's. Struggling to know. I need the lyrics in front of me for a good read through, but it's really my favourite on that, and it's the second one in, which is like, wow, where can we go from there? Where do we go from there? And then we hit, "Come to Me." All three tracks for me have been a real breakneck speed. It real good. It will teach some young extreme metalers just how you do it without losing definition and texture and power. It really it feels like the old Venom. This one with me. It really feels like they've sort of reached into a pot of a little bit of taken some paint from pot A of Venom Black and black metal and War with Satan, and dipped in some other tones of Primeval and Temples of Ice and even Possession, and it's just really, really fantastic. It's a real sense of bleakness on this track. It's very bleak. It really is. I feel the void here. I really do. Just the gravitas of Tony's enunciation. You can see why this also was a single. It's just a fantastic, really fantastic lyrical moment. And then we move there from to on There's Only Black. Now this is the title track, and I think this is a good move to put it 4 tracks in, because it opens in a more you've got your breakneck speed. But it starts off with a good old solid classic Venom feel. Feels like it's been recorded underwater, and if that is a way to describe it, it feels like it's in the depths of hell. It has a real how do I say it? A real sadness and soulfulness to it, but it's a solid classic. Probably the heaviest track on the album, I think. Tony's bass here is intense. I mean, Tony's a very, very good bass player. People dismiss bass players for being, just one octave below, unless you're someone like, you know, Geddy Lee or Steve Harris or someone like that. Genuinely, get my tea. Genuinely, you know, you're dismissed as an instrumentalist being a bass player. This is bullshit, because you really, really... Can you hear she's picking up on the mic, she's purring away. It really is crap, because Tone's ability to... I mean, he picks the bass, and so you get a lot of power. It's so same with Lemmy. No one would turn to Lemmy and say, Lemmy, you don't... You're not a great bass player now, would they? You look at Tony, and I mean, he's watching him live, and even listening to all of his recordings, even with Atom Craft, where he used to be back in the Norman days and so on. He's really built up a brilliant bass technique, and it has this really thunderous but creamy low end. I don't know if that's another good term. Really creamy low end. That sounds quite vaguely disgusting, doesn't it? Anyway, so it again, it's about the not seeing a heaven or a hell at near-death experience. There are no angels, no stairway to heaven. Speak the truth. There's only black. I love that. There are no angels, no stairway to heaven. I speak the truth. There's only black. It's a lyric that I did manage to write down in haste when I was listening to it. It's really proggy. I think audibly and texturally and conceptually, it's quite proggy. It's really, it moves in so many different time signatures. You know, as I said, this is a band that is 40 plus years of experience. You know, you don't get this kind of product made. I mean, you now and again make it with young bands, but it's not always. They don't know or are brave enough to do what Venom is doing with it. Venom.Inc's doing with this album. I said this to Tony in the interview. I think it's a very brave album. It'd be easy to do. Let's do Ave Time Part 2. Let's make, you know, one of the best albums of the last decade and do it again. And I don't know if the fans would appreciate it. I think we fans, particularly older fans, want to hear and feel and sense different things, because we're always constantly yearning for a different sensation. And I think you get that with this, particularly with the title track, There's Only Black. You really do. Sorry, I've got the notes here. Now, here's a cracker, right? I think Infinitum is close to my favourite song on the album. This one comes very close. This is Tyrant. Atmospheric opening I've written. It's really bleak and black. It's a little wilder on drums. It has it's punctuated precisely with the cymbal work. I think Jeremy's his hi-hat and his ride cymbal work, his splashes are it's so clean. I was listening to it and it was like I was sitting next to him on the drums. The way that the cymbals bleed out on each note, you know, sometimes you hear that and with the extreme music it's lost because it's about brutality and as many notes as you can get in. But this one really felt like... Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to have to... my blessed computer's got into safety mode again and I can't see where we're going. Oh, God. Oh, there you go. I can't... 1 second. I can't... 1 moment. So, guys, I'm juggling a cat, a microphone, a laptop, and now I can't get into my computer. 1 second. This is entertainment, isn't it? I changed my password, and... Oh my God. There you go. Sorry, guys, that was very, very boring. I'm sure that would have given you a lot of entertainment. Me reaching around, tapping a keyboard for a few minutes. I'm not going to edit it out because it's just not what I do. Anyway. Wow. Top entertainment. See, Phoebes? My little kitty betty? She'd get in my way. So, yeah, so Tyrant. So, the album's... it's a really sing-along. You very rarely don't get a good sing-along chorus with this band. But also at the same time, in the nature of extreme metal, it's not really a sing-along environment band the music thing, is it really? So this, I feel, is the most sort of, I think will be a sort of stadium-esque song. Really enjoy. I've got, it sounds like a heartbeat. I've got this written. I just wrote in big letters "heartbeat" across the page, and I think that's the drummer doing his bit, but also Tony and Jeff's sort of because it's marching almost. I think heartbeat's the wrong word. I think marching, because I get the feeling that this is a song about the devil and his minions and people on Earth dealing with it, like prime ministers and presidents and people in power. Again, I wrote military drums. There you go. Need to get the lyrics for this. Yeah. Okay. And then we go on to "Don't Feed Me Your Lies." Now, I've written in big letters, really old school Venom here. Tony's bass feels old school. It drips with pomp and vintage Venom circumstance, I've written. Mantis's tapping work. Now, I'm assuming it's tapping. It sounds like it's tapping to me. I'd have to watch him play it. Either that or it's really precise legato or arpeggios, but I think it's tapping. It's very on point. You can almost, it's very angular in the solo work, and I've written Tony's enunciation is spat at you with venom. You can hear the passion in his voice in this one, and it really does capture the zeitgeist of what we are, where we are living now. I think it really does, because we are sat in front of our computers and our phones and our TVs, and 24/7 fake news media is thrown at us, and we are expecting to try and decipher what the truth is. And I'm getting that from this song. That's what I get from "Don't Feed Me Your Lies." I mean, it might be a more personal thing for the band or for members who wrote it, for Tone or for Jeff or for Jeremy, but I think it has the most Sabbath. I've written here Sabbath depth to it. "Good night, Jack. Good night, Jack. I'll be all right." That's what the lyric is, which is, I love that, because it's a lovely play on "I'm all right, Jack." I just, it's really cavernous, wet sound I've written here. I don't know if that means anything to you, but cavernous and wet. I really like the dankness of this particular song. Again, I think when I say it's another one of my favourite songs on the album, yeah, it is. It's there's too many good songs. This whole album is a cracker from Woe to Go. I don't see anything on it where I go, well, I left that out. It's a real fierce 5-star album for me, and this one again probably comes into my third favourite. Oh, off you get. 1 second. There you go. See, she's now jumped off. Wow, fun. Sorry, guys. Oh, bang, crash, wallet. That's what you come for. Me tapping on my computer trying to get it working, and my cat jumping on my lap. Sorry, that was really bad audio. If it hurt your ears, I am sorry. Anyway, I've got a little table in front of me where I record on because I'm still waiting for a new table to put my whole setup on, and so I have to move it to get around things, and she just pushed it out of the way. Anyway, okay, so moving on, be more professional and centered and back. Burn, Liar, Burn. What can I say about Burn, Liar, Burn? It's a nice follow-on from Tyrant, in my opinion. Oh no, sorry, Man as God is the next one. Ooh, see, she put me off centre, didn't she, Phoebes, you naughty girl. Man as God. I've got Mantis Atmospheric on here, so guitar atmosphere, exaggerating the anti-organisational, anti-religious statements coming through in the lyric. It's a tour de force of rage I've written here, and that's probably very true, actually, that it has this real anger. I mean, I know that Tony himself, he's not... I don't like the word pagan. You know I don't like the word pagan. I think it's a really overused and understood word. He's a person that has alternative views on organised religion, and he has his own ways of living his life. He seems a very intelligent man and doesn't want to hear lies, or his perception of lies and people's modern lies of modern organised religions, and it comes across in this song. You know, it's very easy for someone like Venom.Inc. and Venom, because they've got the the logo is the goat of Mendes, and to have Satan and do all the tropey stuff. Very easy to do that. They don't do that, and they've never done that. And Tony's era of Venom has never been that way either. Yes, at the beginning, because it was there to, like Black Sabbath's first album, it was to shock and to sell records. They were more punk than they were anything else. And I feel Tony's that way as well in this band, that his lyric and Jeff's lyrics are more personal, and they just push it in the direction of extreme metal to give it. There are listeners something. They obviously wants to hear that, but they don't want to hear Venom songs about plaiting flower daisy chains and cupping hands and sitting in a field doing nothing, but singing hymns and hoping the nuclear weapons will go away. No, they do something. They do, like, the extreme metal genre, very much like the punk metal genre. The punk genre for me is that they genuinely wanted to change and do things differently, and you get that across with this Man as God. It really feels like he's ripping the whole concept of organised religion apart in this song. It's quite short. It's very punchy. They all come together beautifully musically, but the lyric is the thing that really holds it. And again, sorry I can't give you a lyrical breakdown. I don't have them, but I'll do it again one day. But just go and find it yourself. You might find it interesting to do that. And then we move on to Burn, Liar, Burn. This feels cavernous again, like a lot of the other songs on the album, like Tyrant. It's slowed down. The bass is beautiful, probably the best bass part on the album by Tony, I think. She really shows the mercurial talent of Tony. The drums are alert and alive. Mantis's guitars are groovy. I mean, I've just put one. I've written in big red letters in my book, one hell of a groove. It's infectious. It's demanding your attention. It's twisting and turning, it's writhing, it gets chaotic in the middle 8 section, and I think it feels like the best of old Venom I've written here. A song of two halves. I love the term, football is a game of two halves. Well, a song of two halves. You've got that sort of slow, open the intro. It's almost you don't know when it's going to turn, and you don't know when it's going to change. I think that's the key with this song. 2 minutes 45 seconds in, it starts to speed up like a motorbike on a highway, just going into top gear. It's like someone going. It is almost a song of three halves. In fact, cavernous, then chaotic, and then the lyric comes in, and and there's where the progression is, guys. What a progressive song. What a way of going. I've got, they probably came to the songwriting process and we've got 3 songs. How do we put them together? Wow, these just marry in such a sort of dramatically jarring but in so syncopated way, and it just barrels you over. It really does, and it does feel like it's from Ave. This song, it feels like it's sort of left from Ave, bits of it. It is just very emotional, very wonderful. It really is. Now, I know this, just to give you a bit of a warning, this is going to go over time, I think, guys, because I can't really get all of my appreciation in 40 odd minutes. So I might take a break here, and we will come back and talk about the next few tracks on the album, because we're getting to 50 minutes now. So let me just pause here. We'll play some nice guitar intro music and outro music, and then when you get back and we've had a rest, we'll chat about the next part of the album. Okay, talk to you soon, guys. Bye. Welcome back, guys, to the third part of the show. Sorry it's a bit longer. I could edit out all the stuff with me fiddling with keyboards and cat jumping, but I would just do a shitty job of it, to be honest, and I quite like the fact that it just flows. You know the show by now. Anyway, next track on is 9. Now, 9 is an interesting number because Tony originally said to me that he wanted the album to be a double album, and it was about the 9 circles of Dante's Inferno, so 9 circles of hell, and I think this one very aptly grabs that. It is, those out there like me who have long hair, who enjoy a good headbang or windmill, and there's a lot of in this audience listen to me now that would this is the perfect track for that. It starts off with such an amazing windmilly, rhythmic guitar piece. Again, very modern, very un-Venom in my thinking here. And then it moves at breakneck speed into a hardcore punk vocal jive that Tony does, and it's fast, it's aggressive, it's hard, and it is very much an echo of their hardcore punk heritage. Just really, really just moves, and it's fast and aggressive, and it's not something you play in front of your mother. Let's be honest, lyrically, it's quite outrageous. Not for us, really. We're grown adults and grown people here, but there are people out there that might find swearing offensive. If they do so, well, then this isn't probably the song for them. But it's not long. It doesn't take long. It is about the trip into hell. I think, again, I'm running on emotionals here, not on the lyrics, because I need the lyric in front of me to really let it sink into my head. But it is so fast and so aggressive, and Jeremy's drums on it is probably the best on the album for him. Sorry, a bit of a burp there. Tony's vocals, I think, on reflection, this is probably the most arduous workout for Tone lyrically, vocally on the album, because he's just really goes into his deepest growls, and then he goes into his most venomous spit, and then he just pulls it back and then goes at breakneck speed again, like something like an Exploited song. It has that real extreme second wave of punk sound from like 80, 81, you know, and it has that really like guitar, machine gun attack, and it is brilliant. I think this could have been the title track for me. 9 could have been the opening track. He wanted to call it 9 originally and have a double album, but the studio were like, no, we won't do that. So there might be a second album. You never know. Let's hope, fingers crossed. If it's as good as this one, bloody hell, you know, it's going to be worth every minute of the wait. Anyway, that one, it comes and goes pretty quickly. So it grabs you, squeezes you by the balls, and then makes you wake up. I'm not that this album. There's no point in this album where you would feel, oh my god, I'm drifting away from the direction of this album, because you can't. It's just solid gold all the way through. It just keeps your attention. But then the next track on is, let me just get my next track on is Rampant, and Rampant is a whole different story. This is Jeff's most grooviest song. I mean, and I'm talking about groove. People, you know, they think, oh, there's no such thing as groove in extreme metal. What a load of bullshit. Listen carefully. This is groovy beyond belief. Jeff is a massive Kiss fan, okay? And it comes across in some of his work sometimes, that rock and rollness of the groove that Kiss would have. And it's also probably the most... lyrically, probably the most easy to sort of, or to hear. And I mean, well, no, that's the wrong word. No, not hear. He enunciates really well. It's the best lyric in the fact that the way that Tony spits it out is very in tune with the movement of the music, and it's dark, it's heavy, it's fast, but by all means, it's groovy. And again, Jermaine's cymbal work in the background, you know, I think he's a master on the cymbals. I mean, I really love love drums in general, but the way that he's, you know, like, because Abaddon was the same. Abaddon was really much a lot of atmosphere on his cymbal work, and I think the same with Jeremy. It's real. Splash, you know, and then of course really thin and tinny, but also at the same time really sharp. But then it smooths off as it rides off the note. And I mean, that sounds a bit technical for you know. You might just go, "Who sounds like drums?" to me, but that's how I hear it, and it's just really good. And it's also coming at the back end of the album. I mean, this is the thing, right? So when you're coming. A lot of albums, when they come to the back end of the album, you often either get the best bits or they run out of momentum and steam. But this seems at the same pace. It's kept the same pace. It's like they've got a metronome, started it, and gone at the beginning of the recording session. Right, guys, we're going no slower than this all the way through. And even at the slowest points, feel that it's at the same pace, which is really, really quite astounding, actually. The next one on from there is The Dance. Oh. You could almost hear that. I don't want to get myself a copyright. I was just looking on my phone to flick through to see the things. But yes, The Dance. It maybe if I want to be honest, a weaker part of the album. But I don't know if that's a truism in that respect. I don't think it is a weak part of the album. Maybe I'm looking for weaknesses so I can not be too gushing over it. I don't know. No, I think I'm wrong there, actually. It's because it opens with such atmosphere and closes with such atmosphere. It's like a Christmas cracker of a song. You grab either ends of it and you pull, and that anticipation before you pull is the calm before the storm, and then bang, right in the middle is a cracker. And then you get a little toy, which you may like, or you may hate, or you may love, right? It could be the wax moustache of the album. I don't think it is. I think it, or the paper hat of the album, should I say? I don't think it is. I think it's because it's different to anything on the album. I think it's because it goes, you know, like I said, you know that, I don't know, you know that Monty Python sketch, the ant elk, very, very thin at one end, very big in the middle, and very, very thin at the other end. That's a definition of have heard of a brontosaurus. I think that's what this is. Add some comical side to it. It is the An Elk song of the album, or the Christmas cracker of the album. This, I don't know, whatever analogy you want to throw at the wall. If you throw it at the wall and it sticks or it doesn't slip down, that's the analogy you got. But I think, yeah, it has such weird and progressive opening and closing that it threw me off. But at the same time, I still think it is a good album, a good song now when I think about it. Okay, Jeff's outro guitar work and bass work with Tone, and that intermittent with that great cymbal work that Jeremy's doing, it really sort of just I've gone back. I paused it a second there and I went back and listened to it again, and I honestly, I think I was wrong with my first notes. I think that it is the Christmas cracker, so it's the anticipation. It's calm before the storm at either end. Brilliant song, great song. The dance, it does sound like it could come off of an old Venom album as well, but still very modern and progressive. And then we move swiftly onto Inferno. Wow, I don't know what to say about Inferno without being too effusive. So much atmosphere in this song that is painfully fantastic. The vibration, it's almost, you can feel at 2 minutes 40 before the solo comes in, you can feel the vibration of the speakers, as if all three members of the band are on stage, and you got your hands on the stage or on the fold, and you can fold back, and you can just feel every fucking note come through. It is astounding piece of heavy metal. You know what? Even if you're not a Venom fan, and even if you're not a Venom.Inc fan, and you don't like extreme metal, you put this on, and please, I'd honestly say to you, if you listen to this podcast, but you go, I like Tone how chatting away and listening about things, but I don't really want to listen to, I'm not really into extreme metal, just honestly slip through to this one, put it on, and if this doesn't change your mind, I don't know what will. It is heaviest, one of the heaviest things I've heard in years. And the vibration, I felt the vibration. I remember sitting in the bath, actually, and I could feel it. I feel the intensity coming off it, and the opening bit, it sounds like, they've made it sound like a firestorm, and the open, obviously it's probably to do with hell or something to do with hell, but you can feel the firestorm, you can feel the heat, you can feel the rage in Tony's lyric and in Jeff's arguably the best guitar solo possibly, now I think about it, at the end of this song. They don't hang around for long, these are 4 or 5 minute songs, but they pack a real punch, and it's just an outstanding piece of modern heavy metal. It really is. And then obviously, that's the end of the album there. So it ends with Inferno, and what a cracker of an ending. What a cracker of an ending. Sorry, I keep spiking the old meter on this new recording thing, so sorry about if it does go a little bit loud and quiet for a second there. But what a way to end an album. You open it up with a cracker and you finish it with a cracker. I keep saying cracker, but it's because it's coming into that time of year where you got to start thinking about Christmas, eh? Anyway, yeah, it is a brute of a finish of the album. Does the album linger? Do I wish that it was shorter? No. Do I think it's not long enough? No. It is that sweet spot of an album. I'm definitely giving it 5 out of 5. I don't fucking care. I think that there's nothing on it that makes me go, oh, maybe not. Well, that's about. And I won't. There's only been a couple albums in the last 10 years, even the last 5 years, that have done that. Crypta's last album. Yes, and this one really just sunk itself into my psychic. Sorry, Not psychic, what's the word? Into my mind. Let's use that. You know. Oh, bloody hell. Spilled tea on the floor. On myself. Banged the mic. It is a real... I woke up with a migraine this morning, guys, so sorry if now and again I go a bit wayward and in tapping the keyboards there and banging things. Hey, it is what it is. You want smooth... Go listen to Radio 1 or wherever in the country you listen to, whatever radio station you listen to, whatever podcast you want that's highly cleaned up. You get what you get with me, and that's the spirit of rock and roll. I reckon that's the spirit of rock and roll. It really is. Anyway, conclusion. I actually thought I'd go well over an hour, actually. There's a conclusion. Probably didn't need to put the extra break in, but hey, gives you a chance to go and get a fresh tea and think about the album. My conclusion is I can't wait to see them live. I think the lads have made a cracker of an album, something that equally, if not betters Ave, which is, as I said, a really big call and has beautiful echoes of earlier work from their catalogue before the ink was added, when they were just Venom. Is Jeremy a better drummer than Abaddon? That's a big call. I think Abaddon is more atmospheric, but I think Jeremy is more is more precise, more clinical, and you know, I think that's the difference. I think fresh blood, as they say, is probably what makes this album really modern, you know, and what gives it that sort of progressive feel, you know. I'm trying to look, so I've made some notes. 1 second, here we go. What do I do here? Over here. Yeah, just making sure it was Jeremy and not Jermaine or something that I'd written and talked for the last hour saying Jeremy and it was Jermaine. That'd be an interesting moment in history, wouldn't it? It'd be very germane to the situation now, would it? Anyway, I think that's what makes it more progressive. I think also the tyranny of distance is another thing, but also the fact that they've taken and they've used modern techniques to make an older sounding album. I think there's a good way of saying it. I think they've used very modern musical production to make an album that sounds like it was made and recorded 20 years ago. Now that is a compliment. You might think, why would you want to think something sounds old? No, I think often we crave stability and modernity, but we don't want modernity in such a way that it destroys heritage and stuff we love. And I think that they've not done that. They have completely turned around their sound. Yes, I think they have. It is, you know, on reflection, a very, very modern album, but it also has a very older no-album thrash, extreme black metal, extreme punk feel that doesn't try and be too looking over my shoulder and trying to be what was back then for nostalgia, because, you know, the people that are listening to my albums or our albums are in their late 40s and 50s and early, you know, late 50s. We don't want to lose that audience. But I think that, as I said before earlier, I don't think that audience would walk away. I think that audience would demand and crave new things, and those that don't are either they're single-minded and probably don't deserve such a great album anyway. Really, they don't deserve such musical talents as Jeff and Tone and Jeremy. They just don't, and that's my final word on it, really. So more for us, really, isn't it? More for us that love it. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm sorry about the clippity-cloppity keyboard stuff and my little cat getting in the way, but I'm sure you didn't mind. I'm going to go now and lie down in a darkened room and put on some more Venom.Inc. and try and get rid of this migraine with very loud, very extreme music, as I have tried to, and it works in the past. Anyway, see you next week. Keep safe. Keep listening, and please do, those that are on Spotify, please, if you're fans and you do listen, please rate me on Spotify. It's easy to do. You click on the little stars at the top and then you rate me. It will give me more audience. I've only got a handful of ratings at the moment. I really could do with more. If you've liked the show and you enjoy it, please do so. Also, I am looking at making some merch. I'm trying to work out the cheapest way of doing it. I did once before, but it was really expensive and didn't like the product. Reach out to me on my Facebook Messenger and let me know if you like a shirt, what size you want. I'm going to, first batch I'll do for free, so the first sort of like 10 I won't charge anyone, so please reach out and ask me, and I will send them to you. Anyway, good chatting, enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed recording it and love listening to the album. It was a real interesting thing. Difficult not, though, sometimes without the lyrical sheets to really dive into it. But just as I said before at the outset, it was a more emotional trip for me on this one. I'll stop blathering. It's at 1 hour and 8 minutes already. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Danny Pellegrino from the Everything Iconic podcast. And who doesn't love a classic burger from McDonald's? That's right. McDonald's classic burgers are hotter, juicier, and tastier than ever. The patties are cooked to juicy perfection. I love the cheese perfectly melted on top. I love the Big Mac that has a special sauce in every bite. I love the pillowy, soft, golden bun. So in the words of the Hamburglar, which I believe means grab McDonald's best burgers ever before Hamburglar does at a McDonald's near you.